Hey YouTube, what's going on? So welcome to my first official vlog for the channel. So I've actually had a relatively interesting week. Yesterday I ended up going up to the DMV and getting my license. That was fun, I suppose. Administrative thing that just has to happen. Today I spent a little bit of time outside continuing to clean up those trees that I had dropped last week. In terms of what I've been doing around the house, haven't done a lot just because I do work 10 to 12 hours a day in a full-time job, so I don't really have a ton of time to sit down and get a lot of projects done during the week. Living in the city for most of my life has not been good for my overall physical fitness. Now, I'm not going to blame city living for it. I do have tendencies to be very lazy and eat out of boredom. So, in the time that I've been outside working, it's been very physically exhausting. Realistically speaking, I'm only able to get 2, maybe 3 hours solid of work in before I'm just too physically tired to do anything else. Now, the good thing is, as I do it more and more, I am noticing that I can go longer and longer. Good news, I've lost 10 pounds in the last month since I've lived here, so that's always a positive note. My expectation for my tree cleanup is probably about another 2 to 3 weeks of working, maybe 3-4 hours over the weekend to clean it up. I made a lot more progress. Right now, I'm working on the bigger of the 2 trees just because there was a lot there and it was much closer to the house, so I want to get that cleaned up first just so I can be able to get around the perimeter of my house again. And once I finish that one up, moving to the other one's not going to be such a big deal. But it has definitely been a struggle not being in good physical shape at this point. Don't get out of shape, especially if you want to move out in the country and start a homestead like I'm attempting to do. It's always been a dream of mine to own a house, and it's kind of turned into a mini dream over the last year to own my own little mini farm, mini homestead, whatever you want to call it. I came across several homesteading YouTube channels about this time, no, I'd say summer of last year, so summer of 2018, an ex-girlfriend introduced me to Roots and Refuge, and I just fell in love with the lifestyle. It seems very serene, it seems very rewarding. I like the idea of putting in hard work and seeing that hard work potentially come to fruition. So overall, I'm attempting to completely revamp my lifestyle. I am at heart a city boy, and I refuse to admit it to my family out here. And they always like to give me a lot of crap saying, Nate, you're a city boy. And I'm like, no, I'm country. You can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. That cliche. But over the last month, I've really started to learn and understand, like, I am more city boy than I am country boy. And so it's been very exciting and very scary, honestly, living out here so far away from my nearest family members on my own, having to upkeep a house, keep my yard clean, and, take care of all the projects I want to do. So I would still like to encourage anybody that wants to kind of start homesteading to just jump right into it. I'm like not even at the beginner level. I'm at like I've read a pamphlet on homesteading. I'm like, oh, this looks kind of fun. Let's try this out step. I do have plans to plant a rather large garden come this spring. My primary concern right now is cleaning up all of that wood that I've got sitting out in my yard, because a lot of the space off to the sides of my house is where my garden is going to be. My property actually sits on an incline, and I would say I'm sitting at about a 15 to 20 degree incline downhill. Now, the good news with that is I do have a nice large flat spot at the bottom of my yard, but realistically speaking, being on an incline or being on a hill, it kind of messes with the available usable space that I've got. So I've got a couple ideas on what I want to do there. I'm thinking about taking some inspiration from like rice paddies, how those can be up in the mountains and done on like a tiered level. So I was thinking of trying something like that out on the steepest part of my property and see how that goes. In terms of where I'm cutting up the lumber, actually just behind me on the other side, well, not the other side of the wall, but on the other side of the house, um, I got a big burn pile there. Once I'm able to reduce that down to a much more manageable size, I'll probably convert that space into a garden area because that has historically been used as a burn pile. I've done a little bit of exploratory digging, and there are a lot of spots over there where the soil looks very rich from all the ash and leaves and everything that have fallen there through the years. So I want to see how that goes and maybe make an attempt to do something there. If I can somehow work out the space, I do want to have chickens at some point in the near future. I don't know if I have enough space to like really raise a large supply of chickens, but you know, having some fresh eggs is definitely something that I have grown fond of. My dad, about every 2 weeks, has been bringing me up a batch of fresh eggs. They're just so good. So we'll see how that goes. That's basically it for the time being. I've gotten almost nothing done. I still have a little bit of work inside the house to do in terms of unpacking. I've been very lazy with that. I've broken down most of my boxes. My kitchen's pretty much organized at this point. My living room, I'm still experimenting with floor plans in there. But you know what? We'll see what happens. Anywho, guys, that's all I really have to say for today. I'm tired. I'm gonna go cook up some food and just kind of kick back for the remainder of the afternoon. But in the meantime, guys, do me a solid. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notifications. So I'm doing this channel mostly for my own kicks and giggles. That, and I do want to be able to document what I'm doing and be able to show my family who still lives out in Arizona all the progress I'm making. A lot of them did kind of express some concern in what I want to do and still don't really think that I'm going to be able to pull off what I'm attempting to do. But if there's one thing I've learned about myself in my 31 years, is that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And the harder you tell me I'm not going to do it, the more I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong. But, you know, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting year. I'm going to try to update this channel on a pretty regular basis, hopefully once a week. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you later.